So it sounds like there was a really high amount of sales that you were able to pull right out of the gate, which helped fuel stuff up. But I mean, you had to learn fast. Obviously, jumping in and getting such large orders right out of the gate. Did you have to hire people? You said you had one production person. What was that first 6 months like?
It was a lot of fun, went through a lot of screens and a lot of film, but and also that press operator didn't speak a ton of English. So we really communicated through like the affinity of printing, like, trying to figure out how to dial back the amount of ink being put down through a screen, dial back the information on like a sim process print, and then being able to learn also what a choke was from a great printer that could mix inks really well, could make the prints look great, but we didn't even speak the same language. It was really interesting.
Is he still with you today?
No, he's not, unfortunately. Yeah, it's kind of a sad story, but yeah, he would be for sure.
Got it. So is a lot of your work still coming from resorts, or did you pivot to a different area?
Well, we've really branched over to doing like a streetwear genre that's, streetwear has changed so much over the years, and I haven't even really been a big follower of streetwear, but if you look back in the growth of the company, we were in 1,200 square feet, just doing resorts, able to pretty much keep up. It's a little bit of a struggle sometimes because of space. But there was a point where I think I was just talking at a trade show pretty early on. There's a sales rep from Weimar, and I was talking to him, telling him, hey, we could print your crazy jackets. They have those jackets that can melt real easily, and they're double lined, and they're really difficult to print. But anyways, he gave me a referral to a clothing brand on Melrose, and they needed something really crazy, like, hey, we need 400 T-shirts with 3 placements, a neck label, and a sewn-on label, and we need it shipped to Vietnam tomorrow. And of course I said, yeah, sure. And we got it done. And then they referred me to a few other guys that were just, I remember this one company we started working with, his first orders were 36 pieces. And then he turned out to where he's a $10 million company now, and that was 2016. He has somewhere like 50 employees. And I remember he was just heat pressing in his at his house. And we started doing some prints for him.
Wow, this is a retail brand.
Yeah, it's a retail brand, and they're in, all the big box stores, and so that was working with them was actually a big learning experience for us over the last 5 years, because he grew so quickly that they are pushing us to really make our processes, fine tune our processes. And it's still a learning experience, but.
What were some of the takeaways so far from the changes that they helped force you guys to push as they grew a ton?
Well, a lot of little things. How an order is, they're in downtown, we're in the valley, so we send pallets almost every day. And it's how those pallets arrive, what marking is on the pallets, how the product is packed. We went from 1,200 square feet to 3,200 square feet, and now we're in 14,000. And just in the transitionary period, it was just having us update our admin, really. And now we have to be specific on our hiring so people can handle the workload. Like if we're receiving 10 pallets, how does that get checked in? As well as receiving big orders from UPS, you have to have someone, like in receiving, we're hiring right now. And that's why my attention's on that. But you got to find the guys somebody that can really handle it. Otherwise, the admin breaks down, the orders don't get organized in time. It just helped us strengthen our supply chain or our processes in the shop from one department to another.
How do you plan then on hiring somebody like that to help, right? Because you're saying that it seems like a very specific role. Is that you're trying to find somebody with the aptitude and then you train them, or you're trying to find somebody who is experienced in receiving in a warehouse somewhere that you can help mold?
We're doing a lot of interviews, and there's still a little difficulty on hiring. Like, I think we've had 2 no-shows in the last day yesterday, but I think both. There's a mixture of both. There's definitely being able to give someone a concept, like, hey, there's a concept of how to organize, and you can come back and check on them in an hour and have they organized it. And, that's how I found some really great people. Just looking at
what. So you give them that project, and then you know, hey, here. So how does that work? Like, what do you set up? What are they supposed to do? What instructions do you give them?
Well, I just explain like a bin system, or depending on the area, and depending on the concept. But as an example, our previous receiving manager, who is now moved up to our shipping and over finishing, she like runs that department, but she was in charge of receiving and shipping. And I just had give her a concept of, hey, have you heard of a bin system? All these boxes, maybe we should organize it in a bin system. And I do a little demo on a dry erase board. And I checked on her in a couple hours, and she had it done already. All the tape was on the floor. They were all labeled. The Excel file was set up. And so, yeah, there's aptitude. Like, that's a good example of someone who can take a concept and just turn it into a physical thing. And so there's definitely looking for that, as well as we have ads out for people with experience. So we're interviewing both and just looking for a problem solver.
Got it. And do you do that same experiment with them, or is it trying to jump them into whatever is going on that day? Like, are you kind of resetting it and then they do that exact project again for a new interview candidate?
No, there's other issues that arrive of just the volume of product. Maybe we receive 5 products that are incomplete. How is that going to be managed? How is that communication going to happen between receiving and the sales department? So, it's looking at other problems that we have. Like, that problem is solved, but we have other problems to like look at and try and tackle. How are we going to communicate if we receive 10 orders and 2 of them are complete and 3 of them are incomplete? Or, it's like looking at the problems at hand and not creating more problems for them to solve.